Ever since the big reveal at E3 this year, Shenmue has been kicking some ass on Kickstarter. It reached its initial goal of 2 million and now has moved to a new goal of 10 million and a stretch goal of 11 million. Here are some details.
Shenmue 3 and the start of Liu and Shenhua's new journey will take place among the beautiful scenery of China. 3 areas will make up the stretch goals: Baisha, Chobu, and Bailu Village.
Shenmue 2のラストはハッカソンの外れにあるシェンファの家で終わっています。ハッカソンの本格的な探索が待っています。
If you played the original Shenmue, this has certainly got to make you excited, where Yu Suzuki himself is outlining all the different things that could be added. People were so happy to see him so happy about his dream game possibly being realized. So if you're a fan of this game, this is great for you. I have some problems with it, though. Personally, I want to hear what you think first.
First, I think they're really smart about how they're using Kickstarter. You know, it's so cool to use a platform like that. It's been happening for a while now, but they've come up with specific like tiers, kind of, you know, with like the stretch goal, and then if we get this much, we could do this thing. So they've thought ahead about it, which I really like. But having said that, I'm not super familiar with this game, so I don't know what any of that means. So.
Yeah, well, I played the original Shenmue, and it was a great thing at the time. Like, I loved the game, and I think that this is what you were saying, a very interesting way to do it through Kickstarter, whereas people are very invested in it, and they feel like you're part of the development team of like, if you can get your friends to commit and to contribute, we can have this happen too. And so it's very much an investment, not just monetary-wise, but what type of game we're going to get at the end.
I think it's a beautiful idea as a theory, but one thing I've been really bothered about is that it needs to be kickstarted at all. I feel it would be pretty easy for Sony to put up the money to help Yusan make this game that he's been dying to make, clearly, and that is his dream, and then people actually want it. I mean, this has been a great way of showing that, yes, people are really interested in this game, and they want it to happen, and they want to help make it happen if they can. But Sony had to know that this is something that could have easily been within their grasp to create. I mean, when they showed The Last Guardian, people lost their minds, and the graphics weren't that great, and this wasn't even, you know, the demo they showed wasn't maybe the best emblematic piece of, you know, gameplay they could have shown.
Right.
But people are there, and they want it, and they love these games that they've been missing on.
But to counter that, they could have just released it as just another title at E3 or something like that. Like, oh, we've got Shenmue 3 coming out that we sponsored, and it's just going to be another Sony release. Or they could take a chance on doing something like this with Kickstarter and making news and making headlines of like the Kickstarted game or like the most raised in a Kickstarter, because they saw the potential for that happening.
Sony could easily jump in and meet the stretch goal themselves. I mean, and come off, one, as big heroes, and then show everyone that they're there to support them, and that they, you know, that they have this bigger ideal of, you know, connecting to gamers and giving them what they want. So they still have time to jump in and make this happen themselves.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to happen as we get closer to the deadline, especially if it gets really close or you know, it's meeting one of the stretch goals. I think that Sony's going to jump in at the end and be like, we heard you, we know what you want, here you go, and be the heroes at the end.
Do you think it's worth the 5% commission that Kickstarter/Amazon gets themselves for this?
I think so.
Because I think the real winner here is Kickstarter.
Absolutely. And I think that it would be a good pitch for Kickstarter or Amazon to come to Sony and say, look, we're going to support you, we're going to give you press if you do this project with us instead of releasing it yourself.
Ah, it's all a scheme.
You're being lied to.
Okay, my question for you then is, since Sony isn't doing it for whatever reason, what do you want? If you say that's a bad decision on their part, fine. But if the game isn't happening, would you prefer that it just didn't happen at all then, all these years later? Or are you happy that at least it's happening in some way?
I think it was going to happen. Like, it was going to happen no matter what. And I think it would have been easy for Sony to say, okay, we're funding this, do it. Go, run with it. But now we're waiting longer. I mean, I understand, you know, this is a lot of marketing, a lot of hype, a lot of PR that is probably, you know, maybe even worth more than what I said. It's likely. I'm not thinking with that mindset, but it does sound plausible.
Yeah, yeah, and I think we're living in an age where companies taking chances seem to be the big thing. If you look at something like Mad Max Fury Road, I think that was a big gamble that the studio took.
We were so worried about how it was going to turn out,
Yeah.
and it turned out fucking amazing.
Right, right. And I think that we're going to consistently see the payoff of companies taking chances. And with something like Kickstarter, we can see it from the grassroots.
But is this what Kickstarter was made to do? I
Yeah.
mean, for a lot of ways, when we see games funded through Kickstarter, they're small indie projects. They're ideas from creators who don't have the power of a major corporation behind them, be it through marketing or through monetary purposes.
I agree with that too, and it happens with movies too. Sometimes it's like
Zach
a
Braff.
guy does his first, feature film that couldn't have otherwise done it. That's great, but then it's like, oh, Zach Braff's doing a movie where I'm like, didn't he just do like a normal movie? Like like it's more for the little guy usually, but maybe not.
Well, I think on the opposite end of that, it legitimizes the platform. Well, if Sony or this company is being able to use Kickstarter, I feel comfortable putting my money at this random website and these random people.
Interesting, because we do have many instances of Kickstarters that were funded but failed to deliver and
Or
didn't
the
meet
potato
their
salad.
or that
one.
fucking
Yeah.
potato salad
Yeah.
that I still don't understand. And I don't know. It's an interesting way to think of our platforms like crowdfunding, Kickstarter, Indiegogo. Are they more tools to empower, filmmakers, project makers, or are they more marketing tools? Are they who is seeing the benefits from this? What is the point of Kickstarter, everyone? Is it to fund or is it to market?
Right.
And what do you think of Shenmue's being kickstarted in this way? I don't know if I can agree with it still, but let us know what you think below in the comments, and please be sure to subscribe for more.